it's Carrie here with Kinsley's Creative Palette, and I am coming to you live from my living room. We are, we just moved last month or a few weeks ago, and we are still in transition, very much in transition. And so the lighting is terrible in my dining room. And so I thought, well, I wonder where I'm going to do this. So tonight I am live from my living room. And I wanted to show you what we are going to be making. We are making a tray that is for serving, display, whatever you want to do with it. And everything you need to create this is in the home decor box for the month. So if you're a member and you got your box and you're like, what the heck are all of these? I'm going to call them special ingredients. This is what we're making with them. And what I love about this project so much is that you can customize this based on the colors of your dining room, your kitchen, your living room, if that's where you want to put it. You can use the stencil or you don't have to use the stencil. It's totally up to you. But this one I thought would be really awesome going into the holidays. So, hi friends, I'm so glad to see y'all on. So we're just going to get started. This one is really simple. You're going to want to use your box to mix your paint. And then the only other things that I grabbed my blow dryer. I grabbed a Phillips head screwdriver, which you don't have to have right away. You can actually kind of hand tighten them. Thank you. I'm glad y'all think it's pretty because I love this project. Anyway, so and I grabbed a cloth, and then my blow dryer is over to the side because before we put our stencil on, we are going to want to blow dry our project. All right, so without further ado, let's get started. So in the box this month, this is what you got. You got a set of handles. You got a package of wipes. Hello, Miss Karen, Miss Laura. You got some paint. You got a package of screws. You got some these little clear, like little jelly type things. I don't know how to describe them. They're like rubbery. There's 4 of those. Mine are on 2 pieces. Yours were probably just on 1. You also got a glove, a dauber or sponge. You got your stencil that already has your transfer paper on it. Karen, you should get your box any day now, babe. Any day now. If you don't get it, actually message me tomorrow and I'll send you the tracking info. Okay, and then lastly, you would have gotten a round that is etched, and you can kind of see, it's like engraved, so there's actually a gap. And this is where I'm going to do 2 colors. I'm going to do a color on the top and the bottom and a color through the middle. And then my stencil will just kind of sit right about here whenever it's time to put it on. All right, so the first thing we're going to do, well, actually, the first thing I'm going to do is grab something to put under so I'll just put my board up here. Give me just a second. Let me grab something real quickly. Okay, I wasn't thinking about protecting my table. Okay, so you can craft yours right on your box if you want to. I'm gonna, because I didn't actually package mine in a box, I am doing mine on my table. All right, I am just wiping off. I'm gonna wipe it off and get them clean and smooth. And then I'm gonna get a plate, which you can use your box lid, and I'm gonna mix some paint. Now, for this one, I did a light brown, a dark brown, and then the same light brown. This brown has kind of a grayish tone to it. I think with the new one, because I don't need 2 that are identical, So I think what I'm gonna do, let me put this over here, is I think I'm gonna actually do gray and black and gray. So I think that's what I'm gonna do for this. I just elevated mine so that I would be able to get it off of my table. We're gonna use, instead of paint brushes, we are gonna use baby wipes. So what we wanna do first is we wanna mix our colors. I'm gonna start with the darker and do the middle section. So I'm just gonna pour some black. I gave you black, brown, and white. So I'm gonna pour some black on here. I'm gonna use my finger and get dirty. I should have put my glove on, but I don't know. I tend to not like crafting with gloves. There's just something about getting your hands dirty. And then I'm gonna put some white. And I'm gonna use the back end of this and just kind of mix it. And I just want it to be a like charcoaly gray color. That's what I want my middle to be. All right, so you don't need a ton, but make sure you mix enough that you're not gonna have to worry about trying to remix. So now I'm gonna grab a baby wipe or a hand sanitizing wipe, and I'm gonna put my glove on just on this hand because this is the one I'm gonna use to do my stain technique. And I'm just gonna dip right into my paint, and I'm going to paint this on just like this. And I'm just wanting this to be a kind of a darker gray. And I only want to go to that line. So just be careful when you're doing this. I'm just dragging my finger right across that line. Now it's easier for me to feel that line if I go this way, so I turned my board around. So I could just kind of use my finger and feel right along that line. I want to show you how pretty, like you can still see the wood grain through that, but anyway, it looks really pretty. Down on my wipey. If you're just joining us, we are crafting our home decor project for the month. And I am just doing a darker gray along this middle. I'm going to flip that around. Finish this one. Can you see that? This one little piece out. Okay, so now I'm going to take my wipe and I'm just going to kind of wipe all across there. And you can make it darker, you can make it lighter. I'm kind of lightening it up just a little bit so I can see that wood grain through it, because I do want it to still show that wood grain real well. Okay, and you'll see how pretty that is. Now, if this part got a little bit light, too light, so I'm going to go back with a little bit more paint. Okay, so now I need to mix my lighter colors for the top and the bottom. Now I do want a light gray. I need it to be dark enough that when I do my white word, which you don't have to do white, you could do black or whatever color you want, but I do want my word to be white. So I need my gray to still be dark enough that that white is going to show. Oh, just got it on my table. Let's see. It's on my hand. Sorry, guys. Wipe that up before I mess it up. Okay. And then I'm going to get a little bit of black. This time I did more white. And I'm going to do less black. Last time I did more black, less white. All right. So let's mix that and see how that looks. I'm going to use the back end of my little paint dauber again. Just mix that real well. Now I need it to be different enough that it's not going to blend in with that dark stripe. So we're going to try that and see how that looks. All right. There we go. So this is just going to be a light gray that I'm just going to kind of brush on. Let it kind of soak into the wood. Real light. So I can still see those, the wood grain through it. You'll see how pretty that is. I'm going to turn this around and kind of do it the same way I did the other, where I'm kind of using my hand and feeling for that line. Now I went a little bit past it. So I'm going to use my white, get that off. Make sure that I mixed enough of this gray. Grab another white, because that one got dry on me. If your white gets dry, it doesn't do you any good. So switch to a wetter white. Okay, go back into that gray again. And we'll finish this top. Looking pretty. Okay. All right, so now I've got my light gray, and then I've got my darker gray. I'll try to get a little bit more right here at that, where these pieces come together. And then I'm going to do this bottom part. Need to do a little bit more white, and then a little bit more black. Now, so I didn't use my brown, but that doesn't mean that you don't use your brown. You use whatever color that you're trying to achieve, as far as like the, hello Yajira, whatever color you're trying to achieve on yours. So like I did brown and brown, I'm doing gray and gray. You could do whatever colors you wanted to. All right, mixing a little bit more of this gray. You just need it to be light, and then we're going to do this bottom part. Okay, so I think we are good as far as our stain goes. So I've got light, dark, and light. And now I'm going to take my glove off, and I'm going to quickly blow dry this just so that it's good and dry before we work on our stencil. Okay, so now we have this part done. I'm going to take it off of this plate because I don't need it up there anymore. And we need to go ahead and look and see where our handles are going to go. So I'm just going to kind of set my handles up here. Don't want to put them on yet. And then I can mark where I want my stencil to go. And I want it to have this T and this H and this R, actually the T and the R, to be almost setting on that line. Okay, so I'm going to pull this up. Now, you need the blue to come up with your stencil. So this is the way you want it to look. You want to keep pushing down so that all of those little pieces, including the little piece in the E, stays on that front sticky paper. Okay, so it'll peel back just like this. If it starts to peel up, like that A piece is peeling up, you're just going to kind of ease it back down. You're going to do that all the way across until your stencil looks like this. Then we are going to set it on here wherever we want it. I want mine off center, and I want it to sit right above where that line goes, the T and the R. I'm going to move these off, and then I'm going to rub this down real good. You can use a credit card or something else if you want to. I'm just going to push it down. Then you're going to start from one side, and you're going to pull just the transfer tape off. You're going to pull it down, making sure that all those little pieces stay on. Okay, and that's what a successful transfer is going to look like. All the little pieces on there. Now you're going to want to grab your paint, and I'm going to use my dauber. You're going to dip it in the paint, and then you're going to get most of the paint off. Okay, so you almost want to do this dry. And then you're just gonna up and down. You're gonna paint just inside of those lines to reveal the word gather. Just take your time. Make sure it's all the way covered, but really light. You don't want it to seep underneath your stencil. When you start to run out of paint on your dauber, just dip back in there, but remember, get most of it back off. I'm just going to go all the way across. Now you want to stay on the blue. You don't want to get off of the blue and get on your stained board. Oh, I'm so glad you love this one. Y'all let me know who it is. I can't see some of the comments. I can see the comments, but I can't see who's saying them. I'm so glad you like this one. I hope you like the next one too. Of course, I like them all, but I do know that some are going to be more suited to some people than others. Okay. Okay, so now I'm going to start at this back side and very gently, I'm going to start lifting it up and seeing what it looks like. It's looking good. So I'm going to use both hands and lift this up very gently. You don't want to let it pop back down because your paint that's on the blue paper could then get onto your board. So you want to keep it raised up as you're pulling it up. It's Maria. She said she loves them all. I'm so glad. All right. Lift from this side. Oh, I ripped my paper, but that's okay. All right, so I don't want to mess with that anymore right now, because what we're going to need to do is we're going to need to let this dry, and then we're going to get a needle or something and very gently get all those extra pieces up. So while we let this dry for a little bit, I'm going to put that paint, the lids back on. I'm going to show you what the last part of the project is going to be. It's super easy, and then we're going to dry this and we'll finish it up. Okay, so I've got my two handles. Now friends, these are a special size screw, which is why they're packaged differently. They're not packaged with the handles. You've got 4, and then you've also got these little pieces. So being very careful not to touch that wet paint, we are going to hit our handle right here. I'm going to stick this screw through here, right in the middle of there, and I'm just going to kind of start, if you fuzz your stencil, it will stick, but not so hard to remove. Okay, that's good to know. Hello, Miss Lisa. I'm glad to see some new faces on. Yeah, I did not fuzz my stencil. Usually when I'm doing, what do you call it? If I'm going to put a coat of like Mod Podge or something down, sometimes I will. But I'm always afraid to fuzz my stencil if I'm not going to do that. So friends, I'm just getting these started with my fingers. and then you can go back and tighten them up with your screwdriver. Oh, mine is a ratcheting screwdriver. I have it on the wrong setting. Let's see if I got it. Oh, there we go. So you can just screw those all the way in. And because I don't want you to scratch your tables up, I sent these rubbery feet, I'm going to call them feet, so that you can put them close to your screws. And what they'll do is they'll raise your project up high enough that you don't have to worry about your screws scratching your table. So I'm just going to pop this off. They're sticky, okay, so they just pop right out. And then I'm going to put this right next to my screw, just to the right of it, or to the left, whichever way you're looking. Do this other one. Same thing, to the right or to the left. And now, when that sits on your table, what's going to sit is it's going to sit on those rubber feet. Okay, so let's do the other side. Same thing. I'm going to grab my other handle. And I'm going to pop that screw through. All right, and then I'm just going to twist it a few times. Do this one too. Just twist it a few times. And then I'm just going to screw it on. Now, if you want to, you can absolutely stain the back so it's more finished. Totally up to you. I left mine blank just because I didn't want the paint to accidentally transfer onto my table. But if you're going to do that, I just suggest you do some kind of like polyacrylic or something over the top of it. Okay, now I'm going to put my other little feet on. There's one. There's two. Smush them down. Flip it back over. I'm going to hit this with a blow dryer, and then we're going to get those pieces off. All right, friends, so you're going to want to be real careful. If you have a needle, I would suggest you grab it. If you don't, that's okay. Just use your fingers and just be real careful. You're going to just kind of pull up the edges and lift the rest of your stencil right off. Okay. So I like to find the point. So like with this H, there's a little point right down here at the bottom. And that's where I like to get my, kind of get it started and go underneath and then just pull it right up. With the A down at the bottom, there's a little point. So that's where I'm going to get my finger underneath. So I just kind of look for that point and then just lift it right up. There we go. Friends, I love how quick and easy this project was. There we go. I think that's it. So I showed you two versions. This is the gray version where we did light gray, dark gray, light gray. Then I showed you the brown version where we did light brown, dark brown, and light brown. So I hope that one of these would match your decor. And I hope that you enjoyed this project. Super easy home decor project in 30 minutes. Everything shipped right to your door. If you want to know when we open back up for new members, drop a comment, send me a message, and I will make sure you get the link. We only open about 10 spots a month. So if you would like to be one of those 10 spots, just make sure that I know that you want to be one of those 10 spots, and you can be one of the first to grab the link. Bye, friends. I hope you'll have a great night, and let me know what other home decor projects y'all would like to see in future boxes in the comments. Bye, friends.